Welcome to today's video on our YouTube channel where we are considering scholarships, and fellowships. Without further ado, we'll be diving into today's scholarship, which is the Commonwealth Scholarships. Looking through quickly, we have quite a few of them, and we just go ahead to consider the scholarship type because there are so many scholarship type for Commonwealth. We have the master scholarships, we have the shared masters, we have distance learning master scholarship, we have split site PhD scholarship, we have professional fellowships, gender and sexuality and all of that. You can read through, but at the moment the current ones that are open is a master's scholarship for low income and middle income countries. Later in the course of the year we'll have the shared master scholarship open and a few others, and the PhD scholarships for least developed countries. The two are open, so we'll be looking through and running through a quick guide on how to apply for them. You go ahead and click and you read more about the scholarship information. This is the master scholarship, and to take you on the ride, it's okay to look at the general overview. You can read that on your own. There's 6 thematic areas and all of that, but let me start by telling you what does this scholarship entail. We go to financial assistance. Of course, you want to consider finance whenever you are talking about studying, especially outside of Nigeria and several African countries. First of all, this scholarship takes care of your transportation fare. As you can see, covers your transportation fare both to and from, and I think this is generous enough. Likewise, it also covers your tuition fee, full tuition fee between you and all of that. And so you continue, look at the stipend. You have a monthly allowance of this amount, which is generous enough, but there is a clause to it that there is no provision for your child transportation. However, you can take a child with you if you can cater for transportation. There is a provision of monthly allowance for the children, first, second and third child as the case may be. So that being said, you know what your financial assistance are, and this is on the master's page. Now let's check it out on the PhD page. What does it entail? Financial assistance. Quickly look at financial assistance, and you have transport, taking care of food, tuition fees, you have stipend of this amount magnitude, you have warm clothing. However, there is an increased provision towards the cost of field work is catered for. You have paid mid-term visit to school, home, scholars home country. All of these are available. Then you have family allowance. For this PhD, there is provision for you to take care of dependents such as you have for your spouse allowance, you have 290 euros. You have for your first child, for your second child. You have all of this simply because the PhD is a longer stay course of study compared to the master's, which is usually 1 year course. And so you have all of this to take care of, and you're good to go. So let's go back. Consider that you need to know eligible countries, and you check out if your country falls to be one of the eligible countries. You can see that Nigeria, where I come from, falls to be there. Pakistan is also there. Sierra Leone, Sri Lanka, Zambia, Maldives, and Ghana, Fiji, Eswatini, and so many other countries fall to be there. So if you fall to be any of these country citizens, you are good to go to apply. Then you have to take careful note of your choice of university and course of study. Just to run through it, you look at it and then you go ahead. There are 2 ways to this. You could come over through this option, choosing a university course. You click and you get to the course, to the university, or you could literally go through the Google and just search out schools and you'll be good to go. Whichever way you deem fit will do. Now, so let's go to how to apply. And how do you apply? You click on this button. When you click on the button, how to apply, you take note of the deadline. The deadline here is on the 17th of October. You must take cognizance of this. It's key for you. And so whatever you're doing, you must plan within that ambit so that you can beat up time. And having taken note of that, you come to the CSC's portal, online portal, which is this, and click on it. Once you click on it, it will take you to the next page, and in the next page you can see where you can start your application. You fill in this, keep continuing, and next. The good thing about this form is that you can keep saving your information. You can take one step at a time. October 17 seems far, but it's not too far. If you fill a segment of it every single day, in less than 2 weeks you should be done. And so you have ample time to review, submit for whatever you want to do, and you are good to go. So having known that, you also notice that there are two types of nominating agency here. What There's something unique about this scholarship. It requires you to be nominated by a particular agency, nominated GSC here, and there are two types of the nominating agencies. We have the first one here, and we have the second one here: national nominating agencies and selected non-governmental nominating agencies. Which this is for the masters scholarship. This is for the master's scholarship. This is for the master's scholarship. Don't forget. So now let's look at the national nominating agency and know which nominating agencies are actually responsible to nominate a candidate for this scholarship. Of course, since I'm a Nigerian, I'll be looking at Nigeria. You can look through your country and it's country specific and all of that. Just look at the I button here. You can look at Cameroon, for instance. Look at the Ministry of Higher Education, MINESOP, and the address is there, the phone number is there, their website is there. So you could just contact them through that, check through their website. If the website have an email address to it, make your inquiries there and go. But let's run down to Nigeria, where I come from. You can see the maps. And this Nigeria is the federal scholarship body is responsible for Nigeria, and they have the phone number, they have an email address, and they have their website. So whatever the case is, you could just reach out to them. However, you must be aware and take note that several countries are slow in nominating and even enlisting their conditions for nominations. So you have to pay attention to it while you are applying for the CSC scholarship, so that you will not be late, because sometimes they could actually enlist for nomination after the scholarship have closed, and other times they could be earlier, and sometimes it could just be a day or few hours to deadline prompt. Whichever one, if you start your application early, you wouldn't have a challenge with meeting up with the deadline. And that being said, let's look at the non-governmental organizations or charitable organizations who can also nominate. Now, you have NGOs of various kinds. Just check out which one applies to you. If any one of them meets your requirement, why not? You just go ahead and apply for your scholarships, reach out to them for nomination. These are African countries. You just look at African countries. One that struck my attention is Forum for African Women Educationalists. Just in case you're an advocate of education or equal education, SDG 3 and 4, you just have this to your credit, and you could just go ahead and apply. And provided you meet the requirement, check out their website, and look at Nigeria is still here. You click on it, and once you meet up the requirement and you're nominated by them, you're good to go, because that's a booster, and that's one of the conditions that you must satisfy to be eligible. Now let's check out this same thing on the PhD forum. Now look at what we have on the PhD forum. About how to apply. You begin to see that they are almost similar. The same thing, you click on the Masters Forum link, you click. However, here there's a distinction to the number of nominating agencies you have. The number of nominating agencies you have here are more than just two. There are three of them. You have these three of them. You have the national nominating agencies, you have selected universities and all of that. So we have considered national nominating agencies, they're still the same with masters. You have non-governmental, they're still the same. However, we need to check what is these universities or university bodies. So this has to do with people who are lecturers or staff of any organization or reputable persons that schools can vouch for. The schools could nominate them. You can see from Bangladesh to Kenya, all of that. But coming to Nigeria, you can see some state universities are enlisted. Abia State University, Ebonyi State University. You have federal universities in their numbers and their droves. You have and so any of these could nominate anybody who happens to either be associated with them or a reputable person or a staff or staff or a lecturer within the citadel could fit into their nomination criteria, and then the school gets to nominate them. And these people don't need national nomination or national agencies nomination or the non-charitable charitable organizations nomination. That being said, therefore, let's look at the general conditions that you need to satisfy before you can apply. Number one is that okay, these scholarships has to do with people with, it does not require candidates to take IELTS exam. They don't need your language test exam. However, the schools you are applying to may require you to have IELTS exam or TOEFL. So you need to check out the school's requirement. Once you meet their requirements, that means you are good to go. So you can read through the remaining general requirements and all of that. And when you satisfy every of the conditions, you can go ahead and put in. And let's quickly consider the applicant's eligibility. You click on it and then you go through it. You must be a citizen. You must have first degree of at least upper first class 2-1, of course, is compulsory. And you either have something to do with people, and there's no discrimination to it. Yeah, there's no discrimination. Even if you're physically challenged or impaired, there's no restriction to you. You can go ahead. Now, supporting documentation, you must take note that okay, you must at least have referees who must be uploaded on the application before deadline. Then you must prove that you're a citizen, of course, full transcript of all your higher education with certified translation, if not in English, but now references from at least 2 individuals in PDF format signed and on an institutional letter. Just read through and meet all of these. And then in their reference letter, they must satisfy this requirement under. That's the way it qualifies you, because these are the things that they generally look at. There's not going to be any special interview for you. The interview is in all the papers you're submitting. And so you have all your supporting documents. Once you meet them, you go ahead to completing your form. And now when you complete your form, you must take note that okay, you must list all your undergraduate and postgraduate university qualifications, list of 10 publications and prizes. This usually does not apply compulsorily to you, as especially as a master's student. If you have a publication, it's an added advantage. But if you don't, it's not a disadvantage in all, because there are quite a number of persons who have won the scholarship without a single publication or 10 paper to their credit, published 10 paper to their credit. All you just have to do is ensure that your papers meet every other thing. But for PhD students, like you would see, you are, of course, they are required to prove research ability and constructive criticism and reasoning. So they will have to submit a research proposal, or preferably a publication on a 2 or more. And so this Commonwealth Scholarship have about 10 essays to fill in, and when you begin to count from here, in the first part, provide the development impact statement in 4 parts. That's 4 parts already. You can tell that there are 4 segments of questions to respond to. The second part should explain how they intend to, now how you as an applicant intend to. Now the fourth part is this, where you begin to connect the objectives with your goals and vision for future and detailed plan of study, and then you provide a personal statement to summarize the ways in which your personal background has encouraged you to want to make an impact in your own country and all of that. When you summarize it, then you can connect it to your leadership, voluntary, summarize what you have done and engage in voluntary activities and opportunities that have had to demonstrate leadership. So this is where interplay of your NYSC CDS group can come up. That's for Nigerians. For other persons, it's going to be internship with organization, volunteerism with Boys Brigade, Girls Guide, name it, Rotary Club, whatever, United Nations, SDG, Sustainable Development Goals, any of such, private NGOs, non-governmental NGOs that you volunteer with, these ones can come in and be an advantage for you, because you would have demonstrated some level of leadership acumen, and then you're good to go. Now, one more thing to take note is choosing your university course. This scholarship does not help you automatically apply for the course of study to the university. You have to submit a separate application to the university, and because this one has a deadline, a time lead, you have to make sure you submit application. However, you must identify what course you want to study, and under what thematic area the course you want to study falls into. There are 6 thematic developmental themes in Commonwealth Scholarships. So you identify where you want to fall in. Is it in inclusivity? Is it in education? Is it, name it, development, science, or whatever you name it, where it falls, you pick it. And so based on that, you identify courses in that range, you can write them down, and then you come to university, click on choosing university, of course, and then you go to study UK. When you click on it, you begin to search your courses, you begin to specify, assuming you want to study about biotechnology, whatever it is, just look at the keyword search, click on your subject of study or course area. Let me say environmental health. Assuming it's environmental health, I want to take, for instance, let's do a quick one. And if it pops up, UK, yes, select level of study, yes, postgraduate. So let me just say, and then just to show you something, you go ahead and click it. So whatever the case is, you just identify the course, you look at it through, you pick your course, look at this one, Global Strategy in Environmental Health and Sustainability. Is an online course starting 26 September, but it's 2 years online, Thursday, and all of that. You pick your course, and by the time you identify your course, you're good to go, you're done. You put in your application, and when you put in your application, for instance, let me say I'm putting in for this one, you check out their requirements. Do they require you to have an English language requirement and whatever? Just identify everything, and when you're done, you submit your application. Hopefully you get admitted. Of course, the admission decision usually comes earlier than the scholarship board's decision. And as soon as you get your offer of admission, you will notice that on the scholarship board there's a requirement for you to have at least an unconditional admission. So you get your admission, and as soon as they make decision, they will tell you to put in for your admission letters. You submit your admission letters, and once it meets their requirement and everything, you'll be nominated subsequently for the said university, and you're good to go. You become an awardee of the scholarship. And so see you in subsequent video. Until then, make sure you subscribe, put on the bell notifications so that you don't miss out on subsequent videos. Thank you for watching. See you.